Hi guys, welcome to a video, and in today's video I'm just going to be reviewing episode 3 of season 2 of the L Word, Generation Q. I don't have to give that long introduction every time, but I'm gonna do it. I'm committed. There must be some Capricorn in my charts. I don't take astrology seriously, but then again I am also a homosexual and we tend to dabble in stuff like that. What did I think of this episode? Honestly, I enjoyed this episode. I think this episode is incredibly interesting for reasons which may or may not have to do with the budding love triangle between Bet, Danny and Gigi. We'll get to that in a bit. Oh yes, I didn't think the heat was going to be turned up even further, but apparently it is. I could not have predicted this love triangle. I could not have predicted it, and I am beyond invested in all three of these women and what happens between them more than I am my own life. All three of them have the most gorgeous brown eyes, which are just so... There's so much going on underneath the surface. Like, I could do a seminar on all three of their eyes, because this is a why weird? Why make it weird? Just talk about the episode. As I say, I like this episode. It was a bit more chilled out, you know, there wasn't as much spice, but I think it's good that there wasn't as much spice, because I don't think I could have taken another Bet and Gigi scene like we saw in episode 2. You know, I don't want to go into a kind of homosexual cardiac arrest. I don't want to be filming these videos from the hospital bed, so it's probably a good idea that there's like a little bit of a break in between the heat. So the episode starts with Angie. She's done a DNA test and she discovers she has a half sister and she wants to meet her. Bet obviously has a lot of emotional turmoil over this, and you know, that's fair enough. I definitely see things from Bet's point of view. I did think it was weird that Tina wasn't present when Angie met her half sister. Like, I know you have to take Generation Q with a pinch of salt. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense that Tina wasn't there for Angie meeting her half sister. I know Laurel isn't on the show full time, but I'm sorry, the way that the writer's room treats Tina is just... Not much has changed from the OG. The writer's room has just never liked Tina, and this continues well into Generation Q. As though she wouldn't be there for Angie meeting her half-sister. Yeah. So we see Sophie and Finley, you know, they're getting along. We see them getting along. Whoever is writing Finley's dialogue clearly hates the character, because some of the stuff that the character says, it's questionable, and also, I don't want to say like character assassination, but if I had a role on a TV show and my dialogue was the same as Finley's current dialogue, I would not want to be on the show. That's all I'm saying. Like, why? Why? Okay, so last episode, Nat and Alice had this discussion about polyamory. Nat is now sleeping with somebody else, and it was just heartbreaking to watch Alice this episode. I got really angry at Nat, to be honest. I feel like Alice's character has been through a lot over the years, and she's one of the characters I would like to see in a more stable, happier relationship. I feel like she's earned it, and I mean, I don't think Nat suddenly being poly or declaring herself poly really makes any sense with her behaviour last season, where she was pretty much declaring her love for Alice and only Alice, and now all of a sudden she wants to open the relationship back up. And it kind of feels to me like Nat doesn't even really care about how Alice feels about suddenly being thrust into this polyamorous situation. There's nothing wrong with being poly, but if you know your partner's monogamous, you wouldn't just be like, well, I'm poly and you can deal with that. Because that's very much what Nat did. That's not fair to somebody who is a monogamous person. And I hated the way that Alice felt in this episode. I feel like Nat's behaviour is really selfish, you know. She didn't even really give Alice any time to get used to it. You know, I just... No. But what I will say is Alice is still going strong with the suit wearing. She may have a broken heart, but she's always serving high art. That's... I just made that up. Can I just say how much I love Maribel this season? She is so funny, and the actor's comedic timing is hilarious. Like, Maribel had me howling this episode. I don't think I've laughed so much at the other characters, even Alice, who is, you know, usually the kind of humorous one. Maribel, just some of the stuff she was saying honestly had me in stitches. I really, really like her. She's definitely one of the more interesting characters, and it's refreshing to watch a character like Maribel on this show because, like, she can pull off the comedy and she keeps it real. I really like her, and she really shone through in this episode, so I wanted to mention that. Okay, let's move on to Bet and Gigi. First of all, can I just say, with those outfits, they were absolutely serving high power dyke vibes, and I was both intimidated and ovulating. That's all I'm gonna say. They're such a hot power couple. Such a hot power couple. There's a lot to talk about with Bet and Gigi this episode. First on the list is the way that Gigi grabbed Bet's ass. Thank you for that image. I didn't know I needed to see that, but apparently I very much did. Secondly, Bet introduces Gigi as her girlfriend, and she does this in front of Danny. Now, to me, it looked like Danny felt some type of way about that. It almost looked like she was jealous. It did. However, as far as G-Bet are concerned, I feel like Bet was starting to have some hesitation around Gigi. She seems very emotionally closed off to Gigi. Gigi is staring at Bet with these big puppy dog eyes, and Bet just seems kind of emotionally hesitant. And one minute she's referring to Gigi as her girlfriend, and the next minute she's kind of freezing her out. And I didn't love Bet's behaviour this episode with Gigi just because it was kind of unhealthy in terms of communication, and, you know, Gigi just has so much love and passion to give, and Bet is just being very kind of, she's being Bet, I guess. I know Bet is very complex and she's going through a lot of emotional turbulence with Angie, but it's like she won't let herself be happy. Okay, now let's move on to Danny and Gigi and what I think about this whole Danny, Gigi, Bet possible love triangle that's going to go down. We know Bet and Gigi aren't over because we've seen clips where they clearly have a sleepover at some point in the future, so we know they're not quite finished. And as much as I love Bet and Gigi and I feel like they have this particular chemistry, I think Danny is just a lot more open and emotionally honest than Bet. And I think Gigi is also someone who is open and emotionally honest, which sets Danny and Gigi up for a better relationship. But Bet and Gigi, they have that fire chemistry. So even if perhaps things aren't perfect on a healthy relationship level, wow, you know, you have to stay alive for something, and it should be lesbianism. It should. I have to say I am shipping Gigi and Danny. I can't help it. They both have these just gorgeous brown eyes which suck you in, and Danny has this kind of soft giving energy, and Gigi also has this kind of passionate giving energy, and they both have fantastic eyebrows, and I just, they're both beautiful, but it's not just that, they're also very kind of soft with each other, and their relationship already seems so healthy. Even Danny's father kind of ships them. He's like, yeah, that woman, I agree. They do have I can't work out if it's just because Gigi has chemistry with everyone. Like, you could stand her next to a plant and all of a sudden you would be shipping her with the plant. She's just so electric. It's like everything she touches, she brings it to life. So it's just, wow. Sepida is so... I'm not going to kiss her ass all this video because get used to the ass kissing, but also, you know, we'll be here for hours. Gigi speaks Farsi this episode, and my clothes, they disintegrated, and then Danny also spoke Farsi, and then my wardrobe disintegrated, and I had to borrow these clothes. You know, I can't have material possessions around either of them speaking Farsi, because it's, if they get together and then speak Farsi to each other in one of those scenes, I I will be homeless because everything around me would have burnt down. What's interesting about this Bet, Danny, Gigi situation is there's a lot of feelings between all three of them. We haven't really explored the feelings between Bet and Danny, but those feelings are most definitely there. You know, Danny was a little bit jealous of seeing Bet with Gigi. I think Bet does feel some type of way about Danny. I don't know if it's more she wants to protect Danny and look after her, but there's still some kind of dynamic there, and they definitely had chemistry in season 1. You know, I think Generation Q should stop being cowardly and explore all avenues. That's all I'm saying. And then Gigi is chucked into the mix and obviously had this electric chemistry with Bet, and now has this very kind of tender and wholesome chemistry, but also wow, with Danny. And I think things could potentially get very messy. I mean, I hope they get messy. I am living for this love drama between Bet, Gigi and Danny. It has just sucked me straight back into season 2 and I need to know what happens. At this stage, it's kind of too soon to tell, but I was really enjoying Gigi and Danny's scenes together. Danny just seems a lot more open and wholesome than Bet. Bet just seems very emotionally hesitant with Gigi, and you know, we know it's not over, but it's also a bit of a red flag this early on. But I like that Gigi stands up for herself. She doesn't tolerate that kind of behavior that Tina would have tolerated back in the day. I mean, Tina's obviously she's with Kerry now, but back in the day kind of Tina would have put up with that behavior, whereas Gigi doesn't put up with it. And Gigi does not hang around. I mean, she's a lady killer, a gentlewoman and a curly bundle of love. Oh yeah. If I had to predict right now what was going to happen with this particular triangle, Gigi and Danny are clearly going to be involved. And whilst it seems like Bet has kind of checked out of the relationship, I don't think that's entirely true. I think this season is probably about Bet examining her own behaviour, and it's possible she'll circle back around to Gigi. But of course, Gigi will be with Danny, so, you know, we might be looking at a possible cliffhanger scenario. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen enough of either of the relationships to kind of like one ship more than the other. I'm enjoying both. I mean, all three of these characters have chemistry, so there isn't really a kind of bad pairing, although each pairing obviously comes with its own kind of situation. I'm looking forward to seeing Gigi with, you know, with multiple women for strictly religious purposes. That's all. Okay guys, if you've seen this episode, let me know what you thought of it. Please do let me know your thoughts on the Bet, Gigi, Danny love triangle. I said that very dramatically. Please let me know your thoughts on that love triangle happening. And let me know what you think of Gigi and Danny. I want to know. Like, I love Bet. I just want her to get her shit together. And, you know, like, a relationship is something you need to invest in as much as your career. And I know it's a show. I know it's like a drama and it's a show, but, you know, I want her to end up in something healthy and happy eventually. And I don't see why that couldn't be Gigi, but she can't just, you know, it's a situationship, I guess. Don't forget to subscribe for more Gigi ass kissing and just general disappointment here. Goodbye.